Hey, YouTube. Sorry, you just had to look at my armpit. I'm functioning on two different devices tonight, so many apologies for the discombobulation and the back and forth, but it's where we are. So, hey, y'all. Happy Timeout Tuesday. I'm sweating. Full disclosure, I'm sweating because I just ran all over the place to be able to get everything that I needed done. And then at the very last second, I also changed shirts. Why? Because I noticed I had like a spot on my other collar. And it's even more weird that I'm wearing a shirt instead of a dress. I put on pants for you. Weird, I know. It is super duper heavy raining outside. And I know that I have to go directly to JL after this. And if I have to get out, which I will, if I have to get out in the rain and into the pasture because maybe there's a baby, maybe. That's wishful thinking, like in the highest capacity. Then I want to be able to be dressed appropriately because it is pretty nasty outside, actually. But before we do anything else, I feel like I'm really close here. I'm going to back this up just a smidge to, okay, that feels better. No, this feels better. Okay. It's very hard to be on two separate devices and like feel like I'm being productive. This is like harder than my day job. It turns out like I can function on Zoom and I can talk and act like I'm just in the exact same room with everyone. But get me on Timeout Tuesday and I get all nervous in front of you all. And now I'm all like discombobulated and it's Tuesday. Let's have a cocktail. Don't you think? I got my cute little tiny baby glass that came with me all the way from Illinois. And someone sent me a gift. This is called Bourbon Cream Liqueur. And it is an heirloom Jimmy Red Corn Bourbon, Georgia's finest cream, and this is the salted caramel flavor. What's interesting about this is the company that makes it sent me red corn kernels to plant, no joke, and told me about this product. They are a pretty small business, and they wanted me to just give it a try. So this is a salted caramel creamed bourbon. I am not a bourbon fan, but I am a creamed fan. Oh, cool. It has a corky thingy. And this is called, hold on. This says on top, this says Doc Brown. Bourbon, yeah, Doc Brown Farm and Distilleries in Chamblee, Georgia, and it's docbrownfarm.com. Check them out. Check them out. I'm going to sacrifice myself and make the taste test here. I may ask Lester to come out and take the taste test. Not sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. Maybe. Ooh, it makes the sound. It smells terrific. Let's see if it tastes terrific too. I'm going to pour it over ice. It didn't say you had to mix it with anything. Doesn't look like a mixer to me. Looks like a sipper. Locally sourced, silky smooth dairy cream blended with a carefully balanced salted caramel flavor formulated in the Doc Brown Farm kitchen. Handmade in small batches, proudly made by Southern boss ladies. How cool is that? And then Georgia through and through, our ingredients are sourced right here in Georgia from the rich dairy cream through the Jimmy Red corn and the Blue Ridge Mountain water used in our bourbon cream liqueur. What a cool company. Okay. Let's see here. Cheers, y'all, to Timeout Tuesday. Oh. It's not bourbony at all. It's very much like Bailey's-ish. And yeah, cheers again, because yeah. That's it. That is fabulous. Highly recommend. Heirloom spirits made the old way. It's just really cool. Like, let's just think about that. It's made from corn. My corn was not a success. If you paid attention at all this year, my corn was roughly big. Had whole size kernels on it. I didn't have like baby corn, like, the from big. I had whole kernels, but my corn just got meh. That was it. I did have probably 60 ears of corn, but they all had 2 bites on them. I shared them politely with all of the animals. I did not eat any of my own this year. Next year, I will do better with the corn. What is the alcohol content? Chase's mom says 19.5. Is that normal? 39 proof. Is that? I don't know anything about that. Velvet smooth and delectable. I would agree. This is velvet smooth and delectable. If I was going to give this a review, I would give it a good review. It's delicious by itself. I imagine if you were making like White Russian-ish type of drink, like you wanted to add some whole cream to this, you could, but it's quite terrific, and it is definitely a sipper. Definitely a sipper. The brand again is Doc Brown. DocBrownFarm.com. Really cool. Really, really cool. But definitely strong. An adult milkshake. Yes. 212 Greg. Yes. Fully agree. It would be fabulous in a milkshake. I wish I had ice cream right now. I would make one right in front of you and eat it. Ice cream is my guilty pleasure lately. And I've been indulging way too much. Like, I'm about to confess all the things to y'all. I am spending a lot of time in the car. If I'm going back and forth to be with Storm, I'm trying to be present here and maintain a farm, a life, a garden, all those things, but I'm staying at the JL Ranch. So I'm in my car more than ever before, and it's early in the morning. It's late, like after tonight, I will get done here and drive over. Well, I'm not hungry for real food, and I'm over fat. Like, I don't want to have fast food. I cooked dinner tonight, but ice cream, there is not a time in my life where I don't want ice cream. Like, I will skip a meal to have ice cream. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have never had an ice cream problem until this year, and it all started with the accident and being sewn shut, basically. My name's Jamie Walker, and I am an addict to ice cream. And I don't discriminate on what kind or flavor or brand or anything. I love ice cream. I don't know. I'm going to have to break the habit. It's gotten out of control lately. Rosina says, I eat ice cream every day, Jamie. Well, I'm so happy that somebody else is with me on this, because I'll pass up all food. I don't care about, like, tonight I made a really delicious HelloFresh meal. I had taken a break a few weeks from HelloFresh, just 4th of July, and then I had a work trip planned, so you can pause those things to not have any deliveries those weeks, which is nice. And I dropped it down to 3 meals because of being back and forth so much. And tonight was the first night that I've cooked and like cooked a meal like that. Like, I have cooked other things, but it's been like kid food, because Lester and Lex love kid food, or we had other people here, or that type of thing. Tonight I made a shrimp spaghetti that had zucchini in it and spice and some buttery garlic, and it was pretty dang good. Even Lester was like, "This is delicious. What did you put in it?" I'm like, "I cannot tell you. It's super secret." It's not super secret. It was HelloFresh, and it was good. So don't worry, I'm not the one driving tonight. Lester is, and I will not finish this, I promise. My grandfather used to eat ice cream or popcorn every night of his life. Mostly ice cream, but if he was out of ice cream, popcorn would do, but only homemade popcorn that he put his special stuff on, which was basically sugar and butter. And I don't know if I've like gained that in my life or what. Like, and it's not I don't need a giant bowl full, nothing like that. Like those little tiny like cups that are like this big, like the real serving size, totally suffices. It's just like my body's like ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. I'm 42 years old. I do not need that because I can pretty much look at it and gain weight is the other problem. Diana says, I'm making an ice cream cone right now. Oh, that sounds so good. I would pass this up for ice cream. It's bad. I learned that the Bluebell factory is not too far from here. Lex has actually been. So I'm going to either invite Lester to take me or just take off one day. Of course, post baby. Today I made this little clip of Storm because we're in a rainy week right now. We're in the weirdest July week of ever. Our highs are like in the 70s because it's going to rain so much between Sunday and next Sunday. Like yesterday, Longhorn Lester's got 5 inches. I think we got 6 or so at JL, and I know that Plum Grove got even more. Today it rained on and off all day, but while it was raining, Storm just like could not hold out any longer and decided she was going out to graze. Her little tummy must have been rumbling. And all I could think of is like, well, I guess today's not the day because she's still eating like it's her job, but it is her job right now. But I really thought last night was like the night that it was going to happen. And I have a video that I'll post, not tomorrow, the next day probably. I don't want to overwhelm y'all with horse stuff. Like, even though it is like virtually most of my life right now, I'm still, like I said, I'm still doing adulting life things. I'm still doing my real job. I'm still coming here to take care of animals with Lester. All of those things are happening, but it's in like much a condensed way. And most of my time is horses. And with all this rain, I'm like in between rainstorms trying to feed, trying to scrub water troughs, trying to pick out feet because, that's what you do when everything's soaking wet because you want to protect their feet. But I don't want to overwhelm y'all with all of the same horse content, like, because some people are just not, they're just not into it like that. Like they don't have the same passion or love for it. Even Lester doesn't have the same passion or love for horses every day. Like he needs the variety. Now his Longhorns all day, every day, no big deal. And I'm out there doing all of the Longhorn stuff too. Like, don't think that all I'm doing is focusing on horses and nobody else is getting anything from me, because that's not true at all. But it is a lot of time. And so anyway, I'm trying to give you a little bit of variety in my videos to show you some other things. Teresa Owen says, I'm checking 1 million times a day for horse update and videos. Post them. I will do my best to keep y'all posted and updated. Jamie, you could record the same video every day and you would still find a way to make it different. I don't think so, Daytona. I think that I'm sometimes rambling on a little bit, and some of that, boy, I got the squirrel thing tonight. I have the Lester squirrels a little bit. Some of that is nervousness and my unknown pieces about what to do with Storm. And I actually had to have my own little come to Jesus moment the other day as I think I was live. And I all of a sudden, like in my head, as I'm panicking about what I'm doing right or what I'm doing wrong, or what if I miss it, or what if I don't have her set up for success, that type of thing. All of a sudden, I said in the live, I'm like, yeah, we've had donkeys before and they just go off to the woods and they are sort of missing that afternoon. I don't know why. I forgot all about the fact that I had donkeys, and donkeys are much different than horses. I will give you that. But I kept thinking, like, I've only ever dealt now with longhorns and goats. No, we've dealt with a lot of donkeys and their situation, and they do bring a friend with them to go deliver. And when they're ready, they bring them back to the herd. I realize that horses are dynamically different than that, but they are somewhat similar. And I guess that everything online has made me so scared of all the things that I need to do because breeding facilities do it, and like that's how they have it set up and all these things. And I forgot all about the way that Mother Nature handled all of those things. And I like, it brought me so much peace to remember when Imogene had a baby, when, well, Ivy was a surprise, but when we had a previous donkey named Jenny and she had a baby. So it's going to be good. It's going to be okay. Lester did some work today while I was working to prepare us for after the baby is born. So that's really good news. Right now, it's just sort of, we need to get through this nasty weather. And everyone's okay, but it's just hindering to their normalcy. You know, like the littles today probably only got an hour total of graze and out and about time. And the rest of the time they sat in their little loafing shed and just looked out and at it raining. Now, I realize, again, that's nature and there's nothing I can do to control that, but you just feel bad for them. Like, you know, they want to do their normal thing. And the same goes for the horses. They're standing underneath the barn. And in Storm's case, her and Rita have found themselves in the little loafing shed, which is really cute. Hey, Hank, I don't think you should drink that. Hank, that's not really for you. And I can tell that they're hungry. So last night at 8:30 at night, I found myself driving to Tractor Supply to get a different kind of hay that was basically like a filler for them so that they would have something both to entertain them and to fill their bellies because they couldn't go graze. And I know how important it is for them to be able to have that opportunity in this setting. And Michelle says, who's Eugene? Y'all don't know Eugene? Tell me you know who Eugene is. I see you. Hi, Mr. Hank. Melissa doesn't know who Eugene is. Bobby knows who Eugene is. Whoop, whoop. That's Eugene. And somehow he has ended up here. He left his legs outside, though. You know, he's kind of short today. I've been replaced in like almost the whole life fashion here by a dummy. Yeah. Eugene. I can't blame Eugene. I have to blame Lester because Lester asked me yesterday to go to lunch with him. And I am in the mode of I'm only leaving JL if I have to. And, well, I didn't go to his special lunch that he wanted me to go to, so he brought someone in my place. He brought Eugene. Now, I didn't know at the time that he did not bring Eugene's legs along. So when I got home and saw a pair of legs laying in the middle of the shop, I thought that the dogs ate the top or something horrible had happened to the mannequin. Now, the mannequin was in Lester's lives for a really long time, riding a bike and doing other things. I got demonetized because I videoed Lester dressing Eugene once, and I got that taken away from me because it was a naked body. So now Eugene is only allowed to be present if Eugene is clothed. And yeah, I've been replaced now at dinner and now also for couch time. If I come home tomorrow and that stupid thing if he is in my bed, I'm going to lose it. That's all I'm going to say. If you haven't seen Lester's video, you should go check it out. It is quite hilarious. I have no idea how he kept a straight face, and I have no idea how the people in public held it together as well. Like, there was a movie once that Lester and I turned on. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a guy who had a life-size female doll, and he like dressed it, brought it to family dinners, and gave it its own room at the house, and like acted like they were dating, and like talked to it all the time. Like it was his only friend. I don't know if that was a long time ago that we like watched the beginning of that and we both thought it was so weird that it was one of those movies 15 minutes in, we're like, I can't get into it. And, well, I don't know where the idea came from yesterday, other than Lester genuinely does not like to eat alone. Like, he hates going to sit down in a restaurant and eat alone. I've never actually known him to do that. I am not afraid to do that. I did it all traveling for work and kind of enjoy it sometimes, but it's okay. But if you haven't seen the video, Eugene replaced me, and apparently is replacing me now on the couch too. Yeah. The thing of it is Lester went to Poncho's, which is a restaurant in Humble, Texas. It's like a Mexican food buffet, but it's like cafeteria style. I've been once with him, and I don't know of any other place that's like that. You like go through the line and tell the lunch ladies what you want to eat. They put it on your plate and then they bring it to you, but you never actually get up and go back to the line, like that part of the buffet. There are 3 other like buffet-y things, like salsa and all the fixings for your tacos, and then there's like a dessert place, and then there's like an extra like salady place. There's guacamole up there, there's chips, there's salt, all those things. But it was like, I don't fully understand it, but apparently it's well liked. I'll just say that, because people, even in Lester's video, came from like hours away to eat there. So that's Eugene. He lives here now, and he's Lester's friend. He's just here to probably spy on me and to bring all of the information directly back to Lester. Crystal says, just raise the white flag, Jamie. Every time I try to raise the white flag, Lester puts it down. He's like, you will not quit. You will not give up. I'm kidding. Lester likes weird foods. Lester likes kid foods. He likes very simple foods. And I realized later in life, or later in our relationship now, that they didn't grow up with a stove or an oven. So they had a microwave and like a toaster oven and a hot plate. And a lot of their foods were prepared those ways, but all, just very, very different. And G and Pops both like very simple things. And the rest of the family mostly does too. So they just don't have big palettes like that. I'm trying to. Nikki says, I love that he raised the flag for the servers. That was my favorite part of the video. That part and the honking of getting the truck driver to honk. I cannot imagine what that truck driver felt or thought that he saw, and probably was so perplexed in that moment. So there's that. Chrissy says, my sister's boyfriend's the same. Pizza, fish sticks, pasta, meatballs, hot dogs. That you pretty much lined up most of Lester's. Add shrimp to that, and you pretty much nailed it. Kind of crazy. I don't have big things to talk about tonight. So if it's okay, I'll answer some questions and kind of just go with what the comments are saying. And then I'm going to rush back over to the JL because I want to check in on my babe. Where is Uriel? So Uriel doesn't work for us full time. And his company is extremely busy because of the storm cleanup. So he is definitely staying busy with all of that. And he helped us a couple weeks ago with some horse stuff that I had going on, and he replaced the shade cloth on my greenhouse. I did not get to make a video of that though. I was out of town that day. How are Miss Patch chickens? Doing much better, she says. So I think we were right. If you watched that video today on YouTube, I think we were right with our diagnosis, at least one of them, but we treated for everything. And she says that they're doing a lot better. I'll be real with you though. Like, of course I have wanted chickens forever. And Lester, as much as he says he does not want them, he really doesn't want roosters screaming in the background, which I completely understand. And then we worried a little bit about predators and things here as well. But Lester is not opposed to me getting chickens. Going over to see Miss Patch chickens recently made me really, 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 really want chickens again. I'm not going to get them while it's hot here. I will probably wait till fall, but there will be chickens in my life again. I'm not like 20 of them or anything like that, but I would love some beautiful chickens and a coop and a run and, just all the parts. And for everybody's like, don't bring chickens to Longhorn Lester's. You're going to ruin all the sereneness, blah, blah, blah. No one would even know they were here. We don't know Miss Pats are there. And they're right next door. So I will have chickens in the future, but I'm going to wait until it cools off just a little bit. And her chickens were beautiful. And she had a really neat variety of them. She has a really neat setup. Her coop has all refurbished stuff in it. I didn't get to make a video of that. But inside she has a little tiny little metal shed. It's probably about 8 by 10-ish. And inside are things that she has repurposed. And a couple of them were like part of an old bed frame that she made all of her nesting boxes out of. And her roost are an old towel rack. And she just has she made a ladder out of some things. Like, it was really adorable. And it just struck my little chicken lover heart again. And I want some chickens again. Like, they were part of my everything of learning farm life. And after I can get back and get through this horse being born and get all of that, like where it's normal, I will bring chickens into our life again. And for everybody that hates chickens, I'm so very sorry. I'm not sorry actually at all. And I don't know if they'll be here or at JL. Like, those are two possibilities, and we'll have to think through those things. But I just think 6 laying hens would be plenty of eggs for us. It would be a nice little, it'd be a nice little addition. So plus they bring really good garden fertilizer. Could you get a video of Grandma Pat's chicken coop? Holly, I will ask her. I'm sure that she would be fine. And plus we can go back over and check on our chickens. It was really cute. Hold on. So she messaged me and then sent me a video and then called right away. And I called her back and I said, I'm going to run to Tractor Supply. I'm going to get all this. And I tried to do it as fast as I could, but I wasn't able to save the original chicken that she videoed and sent over. It was too late, and it probably was not going to help anyway. But we did save the rest of them, and then the one that was next in line that was sick. As I got here, she was crying. It was very emotional for her because they're her babies. She's raised them from babies, and she hand selected them, and she is out there with them every day. You know what's cute though? You know who else is out there with him every day? Mr. David. Mr. David had a special chair where he comes out and just watches the chickens and just spends part of his days just relaxing, watching the chickens. And I thought that was really special because they own a business and still work, and they've had a very stressful year. Part of their business, they had to move in the last year. So they moved it, got it all set up. And then like 2 weeks later, some wild high-speed chase came through that part of Houston and drove directly through their building. And they had to move in the middle of the night. Like, it was very horrible, stressful for them. And I just felt awful. And they're older and still run that business, and running any business is stressful. But to know that Mr. David takes days off or afternoons that allow him to be able to have that time of sitting there and being able to just embrace something so simple that probably never in his life that he thought that he would find enjoyment in doing, it just warmed my heart. And Miss Pat sweeps their dirt floor every day and cleans anywhere where they roost there was not a speck of dirt or, like chicken dirt anywhere. And it was just really neat because she got those for Christmas from her kids. And for each like holiday thing that's happened, I think it was her birthday and maybe Mother's Day, they built on an extension and things like that. And like, it's just really special to find love in something that they never imagined that they would. So it was really, really sweet. Are we going to keep Dinky Daryl? Yes. Dinky Daryl is here to stay. Dinky Daryl has to have some vet care. And his castration or neutering, I don't know what the actual procedure will be. That will not happen probably until September-ish. But for now, he's a little and he's doing so good. This afternoon, whenever I walked out there, he walked up to me and he normally takes his nose and he'll touch it to my hand to let me know he's there, but also like that's our little thing. And then he allows me to scratch him right here in the forehead. Today he did that, but he also sort of like brushed his side up against me, which was a new thing. And I thought that was really sweet. So Dinky Daryl is here to stay. He is officially a little, even though he would like to be a middle with Eugene and Beverly. Not so much with Dan, but he sure does talk to the ladies through the fence. Let's see here. When will the donkey boys go to the sanctuary? I'm not sure, Paula, right now with all of the rain that we're getting and having to watch the river. I don't expect this week to be any movement of any animal at all. It is treacherous to drive in as a normal vehicle, and just there is no rush to move anyone. So we're going to wait to see what happens with all the rain, and then possibly what happens with the river in Plum Grove as well. But the ABCs are right here in the pasture, and they're doing wonderful as well. Let's see here. A guy has to have aspirations, Mel says. Mel, he dreams big. Twice his size, 3 times his size, actually. He used to dream even bigger when it was Rita that he would stand there and smile at. Now, just Beverly and Imogene. Mostly Bev. Imogene just walks away like she's over it. But Beverly is like, I'll taunt you. I'll tease you. It'll be fine. Lots of people spent a lot of time watching chickens and enjoy it. You know, Brienne has a couple of silkies. I really love silkies, but I have a love for the bantams. It's like Nate, and just my Goldie was my most favorite chicken ever. I would love to find a few like that. Something along those lines. Did I ever get Rita's DNA done? Let me tell you about the horse DNA test. So online, it said horse DNA, you need 30 to 40 pieces of hair, and you send it off and it'll come back and tell you all the things. Well, I did that. I followed the instructions that came, like the kits came in the mail, and I followed the instructions and sent it off. Well, they sent it back and said that I have to have the root follicle, which it does not say on any of their instructions. And I thought to myself, like, you want me to pull out 30 to 40 pieces of hair and include the root follicle from my horse? That feels so mean. Like, I can see 2 or 3, just pull out the hairs and get the follicle, like from her mane. But 30 to 40? So I've chosen not to do that. I will find a way through Dr. Cochran to do a blood test to do DNA, but I just think that that's kind of cruel to pull out that much. Like that's like a handful. That's like a handful of hair to pull out from the root, and that's painful and probably would draw blood. And I don't want Rita to associate me with doing any of that. So, no thanks. Hard no. Don't like the thought of that. Wish the company would have said it because they weren't cheap. I wrote back to the company and told them that how much of a dissatisfier and how misleading that their processes and instructions were. So haven't heard back from that yet. Probably won't. Probably don't care. But I just thought that was like 30 to 40 pieces of hair with the follicles. Like that's absurd in an animal that you rely on, like that has a really good memory of interactions with. So no, not doing that. I don't know of a company that does DNA testing for cats, or to understand their age. I can ask Dr. Cochran though; she might know. A lot of people are agreeing with me, like hard no. Althea says, I can't wait for Storm's baby. I can't wait for Storm's baby either. Today, oh man, I messaged back and forth with my mom asking about, like bouncing names off back and forth. And I know a lot of people have been calling out names in the comments of my videos. I thought that I had settled on at least a girl name until today, and then was going back and forth. And part of me really wants it to be a human name, even though Rita is the only horse with a human name. It's my first one, and it's harder to name this horse than it was to name my kid, oddly enough. So we'll see. I will narrow it down to a few, and then maybe I'll take a poll, and we'll see. We'll just see. And Deanna's right. Wait until you see the baby. That is really what I think it has to be. Like until I touch it, look at it, that's probably where I will figure out exactly what to name. I don't want it to be like the name of other known horses, which is where I'm really struggling because there's a lot of horses and a lot of names and that type of thing. And this is even more weird. I don't want it to be a human name that I associate someone else with as well. So that really narrows it down because I've met a lot of people in my life. But that's how I came up with Xander's name. I wanted his name to be someone that I did not know. So that I never that was a previous patient or a previous whatever. Like I wanted it to be a name that I'd never met someone with. So that's the same for me here. And it has to be something that I can say and that is defined from the rest of the names out there. Like, so it's going to be something. It's going to be something. I'm reading people's comments right now. A lot of y'all are recommending names of horses that belong to other people that I know directly, so that's not going to work either. We'll see. It will take me being there and meeting that baby first. There's a few times that I thought Storm was going to go into labor. Like right in front of my face, I was like, oh, this is it. She's going to give birth right here in front of me right now. And then hours later, where I was pretty sure she wasn't pregnant at all because of the way that she was acting. And if it wasn't for that blood test, I would still be like, is it going back and forth. I know that she is, but she sure can. I don't know if she's like milking some of the things, or if she genuinely has that much of change in energy and hunger and everything else. And maybe she does. Pregnancy does weird things. So I just don't remember the donkeys ever showing any of this at all. It was just like we knew they were pregnant, and then one day they would go off to the woods and not come home for dinner. And that meant they were having a baby. And they might not come home for 2 to 3 days afterwards because they wanted the baby to be strong enough to handle the rest of the herd. I will tell you that Storm has selected Rita to be her midwife. And for everybody that thinks that that's crazy, I am first in line to think that that is absolutely absurd and crazy until I watch the things that they're doing. She brings her into the stall with her. She tells Rita what to do, how to act, how to behave. She even tells Rita to go like block an area so one of the other horses does not walk through. And it's pretty amazing to watch Rita's maturity step up to be able to handle this role. And it's been a joy to watch, and I'm really excited about it. Does she have any resistance in her tail? Kelly says. A little bit. Each day is a little bit less, but right now the pasture is so slippery and muddy that everybody is like trying to be agile through that, but you just slide, and so do they. And anything that I'm touching on her is really tense because everybody's just trying to like make it through the pasture. Like it's a very sloppy time right now. So I also am not necessarily judging all those parts because it's even in the driest part of the day, it's still slippery, and Lester and I even walking across it was like, you had to be pretty nimble, of which we're not, for the record. We're not at all. So we'll see. Any other questions? I see a lot of people talking about Rita, which warms my heart. Lori says they're poor hooves. Yeah, Lori, it's not good. I'm picking them out, and putting on, oh my gosh, it's called Duracell, which is a hoof hardener and to dry out their frog, but it doesn't matter. It like doesn't matter because 30 seconds later, they're back out in the sloppiness. I do have stall mats in the middle of the barn for them to go stand on, but they still go directly back out into the mud an hour later after they've stood there, and they're bored. So, which cow is next? I think Pearl is next. Lester thinks Gracie is next. Guess we'll see. Patricia says an earthquake in Texas. Listen, I read the same news you did on that and also can't believe that. And then I heard about an eruption in Yellowstone today. That was like the first time ever, which shot boiling water into the air. Terrifying. Bobby says, corny, question mark? What about Corny? Corny's great. Corny was actually mean to me the last time I was at the sanctuary. And whenever I squatted down and didn't run from him, he was like truly perplexed. I think. Oh, Cornholio got attacked by Bluey. I didn't know that. I'll have to make a phone call and ask because I did not know that. Okay. Ellie says he's fine. Okay. Well, I don't see many more questions, mostly things we've already talked about. Mostly, I am just on baby watch, hanging out and doing my best to be patient, even though I'm not patient when it comes to this. I like really excited and nervous and just ready. And don't worry about home because Eugene will be right here to keep Lester company. I predict that there are many more adventures to come with Eugene. In fact, if you want to see him, take him somewhere. I highly recommend that you message Lester and tell him because he has no shame and will do that. It'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. Somebody says, do I still have my cinnamon tree? I do. It's actually sprouting new little trees at the bottom, and I'm going to take my first attempt at grafting and getting myself a new tree. So that'll be fun. I haven't made a lot of garden videos lately because I've been like on the rush of trying to do it, but I did plant some pumpkins the other day. My okra is actually flowering right now. My gourds are still going crazy, which is wild. And I have a lot of peppers going still. And of course, sweet potatoes that are taking over the world. But I told Lester actually today, I'm like, I'm ready to get back into the greenhouse. I miss my greenhouse time. I almost did my live out there, except for the extender for the Wi-Fi is located at the sanctuary currently. So how is Marilyn? Marilyn still, Lester doesn't believe she's pregnant. I believe she's pregnant. She has a bag. She's never had a bag before, and she'd be a first-time mom. I don't know when, but I still think she's pregnant. Barry says, are we still having a boat race? Yes, boat races are on Labor Day, so first weekend in September. Jamie says, do you know what waxed up means on bred mares? Yes. So Jamie, here's a weird thing. Her right side is waxed up. Her left side is half the size of the waxed up one. What the heck does that mean? And that's greater than 48 hours like that. Waxed up and hard as a rock. So I'm going to keep looking here to see. Michelle says, how's your grandma? My grandma's good. She actually was in the comments on our Sanctuary Sunday Live the other night and was interacting with some people. So that was really neat. She got her procedure done and told me that she was feeling a little bit better. I don't know what next steps are. I haven't asked that yet. I do owe her a phone call to be able to find out next steps, but she was doing better than she had been doing when I talked to her last. Jamie, I'm looking. So that's Jamie with an E. Not talking to myself this time, I promise. Don't milk her. I haven't milked her. Post a picture of her bag and I can tell you. Okay. That'll be the weirdest picture. I will do that. I will ask for advice and be a total creeper and yeah. Okay. This might be a little TMI, but is it possible that she has mastitis on one side? Like, how do you get mastitis before you're ever... I don't know. But yeah, one side is big and waxed, and like the outside of the udder is almost consuming, like it looks like this, and the big one. Okay, so like this is like tucked up. This is really interesting here. And then the other one is like still very normal, hanging down like this. Could it be clogged? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it is clogged, then I should relieve it. If it isn't, Dr. Cochran told me to stop squeezing anything. She's like, that might be the colostrum. Just leave it be. I'm like, well, why is it only on one side then? So many questions. Okay, I'll make a video of it as soon as I have light in the morning. And if I can find a way to have Lester hold the light tonight, I will have him hold the light if she will let me do it. Full disclosure, though, it's so slippery outside that everybody's really anxious about anything right now in the pasture. They want what they want, and they're scared to move around. And when they do move around, it's like ice skating for them. Rhonda says, an update on Annie, please. I don't have an update on Annie. If Annie is pregnant, you have to think that they are pregnant 11-ish months, and she had okie dokie in November, which would mean that she probably didn't get pregnant till after, and we're probably, if she is pregnant, we're looking at a December baby. Okay. Diane says, Jamie, say goodnight. Okay. I will say goodnight. I love you all so very much. And thank you for letting me get so much off my chest and out of my mouth tonight. Just being able to hang out with you, sure does ease a lot of my mind and lets the stress roll right off. And I love that that's what Timeout Tuesday is, and wish that you were sitting right next to me to be able to hear all the things going on in your world too. I will post as much as I can. I will bring you as much as I can. And I am just so grateful that you're in my life. So, YouTube, I'm ending you first because you started first. I love you so much, and I promise I'll catch you on the next video. Okay?